Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Radek Krakoszyński. I'm a senior trainer at Worldwide School, and I have a big pleasure of conducting tonight's webinar for you. Before we start, I need to ask you one very important question. Can you hear me? You can type in some answers in the chat, so I know that what I'm saying is getting through to you. If you could just confirm that you can hear me, that would be great. Okay, cool. I'm getting some answers, so I think, yeah, that you can hear me. Excellent. So as you know, tonight I'm going to talk about, well, I called it disinformation glossary, so expressions, words connected with, well, so-called disinformation, which is kind of a hot topic. It has been for some time. So we're going to have a look at some disinformation techniques, different ways of brainwashing people and presenting false information to the public. So well, let's start. The first expression, very famous expression I want to talk about is alternative fact. Beautiful, isn't it? So basically, this expression kind of became famous in January 2017, thanks to Mr. Trump's first administration. Saw some guy called a press secretary called Sean Spicer. Basically said that during the Trump's swearing-in ceremony, there was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, which was obviously, well, a lie, but it's not a lie, it's an alternative fact. It was enough to look at some photographs to see that the crowd wasn't that big. And another person from Mr. Trump's administration, his counselor, Kellyanne Conway, called it an alternative fact. Yeah, basically, it wasn't false, it was just an alternative fact. And since then, yeah, this expression has been around, as you know. And some other example, yeah, for the populace, there can always be alternative facts because there are no facts. Yeah, kind of. Right. The next one is anecdotal evidence, which is like a direct opposite of empirical evidence. Yeah, like we know that empirical evidence is something based on facts, which we obtain through scientific observation, investigation, experiments. And anecdotal evidence, as the name suggests, is based on theory, opinion, some informal observation. There's nothing behind it, no research. That's why we call it anecdotal evidence. Yeah, but still, some people call it evidence. Yeah, for example, yeah, sure, anecdotal evidence is powerful, and parents and teens have strong feelings in their gut that this stuff is bad for them. Yeah, like our health education, let's say. Many parents' opinion, well, is based on anecdotal evidence. Anyways, astroturfing. This is one of my favorites. You might ask yourself, like, what the hell is astroturfing? But the answer is very simple. This is like an attempt to create an impression of very widespread support for some kind of policy or for an individual or a kind of product, where in reality such support doesn't exist. We just create an impression that people support it or believe it, but in fact they don't. So a lot of like online identities and fake pressure groups are used for this purpose to mislead the public into believing that the position presented by an astroturfer is a commonly held view, which in fact it isn't. Yeah, and the modern form of astroturfing mostly uses internet, corporations, religious groups, or public interest groups can, for example, flood your inbox with lots of emails that may come from a single source using many accounts. So this is how it's done. Bias. Well, this is kind of an important word. I guess you know what it means. But bias is a particular tendency, trend, or inclination, feeling, or opinion, especially one that we feel is true or not necessarily backed by any reasoning, Bias can also mean like some unreasonably hostile feelings. It can be biased against something, yeah? Or it can also mean prejudice. But basically, this is closely connected to how we form our opinions. Like members of the opinion media will cherry pick moments from the debates that support their own ideological biases. So this is like, yeah, the traditional bias used to be towards the left or towards the right, but everyone will find something for themselves. Black hat SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and all this simply means and describes some aggressive illegal strategies that are used by some companies or people to artificially increase a website's position within the search engine's results, like changing the content of a website after it has been ranked. So usually such practices violate the search engine's terms of service, as they happen to drive traffic to the website at the expense of our users' experience. A black hat, basically the term, originated in films. Bad guys used to wear black hats, and the good guys wore white hats. So nowadays, this term black hats can be used to describe hackers, virus creators, anyone who performs unethical actions with their computers. Bots, that's a classic, yeah. Of course, we know that some social media accounts are operated artificially by some computer programs or algorithms that are designed to generate posts or engage with some content on a particular platform. So this can be used to draw attention to misleading narratives, or even it can hijack some platforms, take them over, create the illusion of public support for something, or create an illusion of public discussion. Well, there are some approaches to identifying such fake accounts, fake bots, using some algorithms, but well, it's not always that easy. Yeah, like for example, in 2010, Flash crash, algorithmic trading bots created a feedback loop of erroneous trades, wiping out nearly $1 trillion in market value in minutes. So yeah, bots are capable of, well, many different things. Botnet, of course, is connected with bots, and as you know, botnet, of course, is a collection of or network of bots that are coordinated and are typically operated by one person or a group of people, and they will include thousands of such bots, such fake accounts. Like yeah, criminals link hijacked personal computers together to form botnet clusters of infected PCs that spammers can control from anywhere in the world. Cherry picking, like this term appeared in some previous definition. But imagine you have a cake and you pick just the cherry from the top of this cake, yeah. And this is what it actually is, yeah. Like cherry picking occurs when we use real legitimate evidence, but not all of it. Yeah, we just select some segments of evidence that appear to support what we like or what we want to say, and we ignore the rest of this evidence, which is kind of contrary to what we believe is true. So basically, yeah, you can use evidence, but only the part that you like, yeah, and the rest of the evidence that is to the contrary, actually, no, we don't like it. So let's cherry pick like the best part that we can use for our purposes. Yeah, like Mr. Trump can be a good example. Yeah, like Trump and allies have often cherry-picked, misled, and gone way well beyond the evidence in trying to attach high-profile violence to the left. Well, yeah, like with the recent murder of Charlie Kirk, for example. Circular reporting. That's an interesting one. Basically, the system works like this. Yeah, there's publication A that spreads some misinformation, then publication B appears later, which reprints the first publication, and then publication A cites publication B as the source for the information. So kind of a tricky scheme, but this is how it works. We can also talk about circular reporting when multiple publications report on the same initial piece of false information, which then appears after some time to another author as having been verified by multiple sources, because you can see the same piece of false information in many sources, so we automatically tend to believe it then. Yeah, circular reporting involves the repetition of misinformation, making it appear credible. Yeah, if you hear something 1,000 times, well, sooner or later you're gonna believe it, right? Clickbait, another classic phrase. Of course, we know what it is. This word is even used in our language, I guess. Of course, it's something like a headline or attractive link designed to make readers want to click it, the hyperlink, yeah? Especially yeah, when the link leads to content which is kind of dubious, yeah, or of no interest, real interest. Like, yeah, Facebook is attempting to clean up its platform, and some creators did clutter the site with clickbait and spammy links. Well, that's a common practice, I'm afraid. Conspiracy theory. Well, that's another classic phrase connected with disinformation. And of course, such a theory explains an event as being the result of some kind of plot or conspiracy by some covert secret group or organization. So it forms a belief that a particular unexplained event was caused by such covert secret group. And that the idea that many important political events or economic and social trends are the products of some secret organizations or deep state or whatever, which are largely unknown to the general public. Lots of conspiracy theories, yeah, flying around. For example, yeah, his death has ignited conspiracy theories, calls for gun control, and a nationwide political debate over his legacy. Dark pattern. That's another interesting phrase. Basically, it refers to, well, intentionally deceptive, tricky design interface that tricks us users into doing things that we actually didn't mean to do. It kind of obscures, makes something unclear, like certain information, to make it difficult for us users to find. It's often yeah, feeds off and exploits the fact that we're overloaded, yeah, with content, and we don't pay too much attention while reading some stuff. So it's easy to click something accidentally, just because we want to go to the next page. So we can accidentally sign up to some service, complete a purchase, or yeah, find out yeah, about things we don't really want to find out. So that's a dark pattern. And yeah, in reality, it's been using a dark pattern to trick users into pushing a button that will start a free trial or sign them for subscription. So yeah, that's how dark patterns work. Data mining, of course, this is the term connected with AI. So of course, it's a process of monitoring really large volumes of data by combining different tools from statistics, AI, to recognize some useful patterns. Through such collection of information about our user activity, some agents of disinformation well can gain a mechanism by which they can target users on the basis of what they post, or based on our likes or our browsing history. So that's kind of well, dangerous. Users could be targeted based on well, how prone, how susceptible you are to believing in certain false pieces of information. Some example, like by Universal's thinking, the worldwide insertion of the language adds another layer of protection against the theft of its movies for data mining and AI training purposes, according to a person familiar with the situation. So that's data mining for you. Dark ads. Okay, so it is what it is, like dark advertisements. Basically, these are the type of ads that are only visible to the one who publishes them and to their target audience. Yeah, Facebook allows advertisers to create such posts that reach only specific users based, again, on the information they've collected, their demographic profile, what they like, their interests, and well, such ads are not publicly visible. Only the publisher and the target audience can see them. Well, companies pay for such ads, like for normal advertising. That's why dark ads, well, they are considered as a form of advertising. But as I said earlier, only the publisher and the target can see them, so they are kind of difficult to monitor or track. Yeah, the rise of online ads has led to a kind of dark advertising. Ads are often only visible to their intended targets. They disappear moments after they have been seen, and no one except the platforms knows how, when, or why the ads appear. Yeah, that's the question. Right, deepfake, another classic phrase. And of course, usually it's a video manipulated or created with the use of some artificial intelligence tools or application, which usually like superimposes one person's face onto another person's body. Well, typical uses are like parody or very often some revenge porn. For example, yeah, thanks to Elon Musk's retweet, one of those deepfakes has been viewed more than 143 million times. Well, that's a lot of times. Digital fossil. Again, this is connected with AI and basically AI training. A digital fossil is an error that gets preserved in the layers of AI training data and then can pop up at any moment unexpectedly in the future outputs. So basically, yeah, the answers given by AI might be not true or simply false because of digital fossils. Yeah, and they are nearly impossible to remove from the knowledge repositories of AI, as many AI researchers claim. So AI also makes mistakes. Digital literacy. This is important, an important thing, and the whole term simply means the ability to use information and communication technologies, ability to find, evaluate, create, and communicate information. Well, which requires both cognitive and technical skills. So the level of our digital literacy it is important because, well, I guess the higher our level, then the more safe we are from disinformation. And this is like crucial skill nowadays, like digital literacy. Well, because it empowers us, individuals, users, to engage with the world in a meaningful way. So it helps us stay informed, helps us make some decisions, which we base on reliable data that we can verify, and lets us participate in the digital economy nowadays. Disinformation. So that's like our topic today. But when you speak about a definition of disinformation, yeah, like this is like the deliberate creation or sharing of false information in order to mislead. Yeah, so we do it because we want to mislead someone. We shouldn't confuse disinformation with malinformation, which is like real, genuine information shared with an intent to cause harm, or we shouldn't confuse disinformation with misinformation, which is false information shared by people who believe it to be true. So all three things are different. Some example, yeah, this week is set to bring a major test of modern freedom of the press in an era of disinformation. Yeah, American media. Dormant account. Okay, dormant simply means sleeping. So there are many social media accounts that haven't posted or engaged with other accounts for like a long period of time, extended period of time. And well, such accounts may be human or bot operated. and they remain inactive until they are programmed or instructed to perform some kind of task. Yeah, like if you look at X or other similar services, lots of accounts that don't seem to be operated by humans. Yeah, and such inactive or abandoned social media profiles we can find anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, well, Twitter, now X. So they can negatively affect our personal and professional branding by reducing visibility, engagement, or credibility on social networking sites. So that's standard disinformation strategy using such dormant accounts. Doxing can be spelled with one X or with two X's. And what it is actually an act of publishing private or identifying information about an individual online without the permission of such a person or individual. Such information can include like names, addresses, phone numbers, photos, whatever you can think of. And this is like an example of malinformation, yeah? Which is like accurate, real information shared with the public to cause some harm or to cause trouble. Some example from 2011. Yeah, this isn't the first time the LAPD has been doxxed. In 2011, a group affiliated with the online hackers Anonymous claimed responsibility for posting personal information of more than 40 officers, including their home addresses, campaign contributions, property records, and names of family members after they claimed the LAPD oppressed them by shutting down the Occupy LA movement. So that's an example of doxing. Euphemism. Okay, we have this word in Polish. Basically, euphemism is well, a nice way of saying something nasty, like a mild or indirect way, word or expression. And that we use in order to, well, not to be so direct, yeah? If the real word would be too harsh or blunt, or when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. Like the term, one of the examples of euphemisms used in the media sphere is like, yeah, alt-right, alternative right, which for many people is just a euphemism for neo-Nazis or white supremacists, yeah, the alt-right. But being a neo-Nazi or white supremacist doesn't sound too good, so the term alt-right is preferred. Yeah, or another word like spin. Yeah, for many people, spin is simple euphemism for lying. Yeah, you spin your story, which is not necessarily true. People believe it, and it becomes true. But we could say that, yeah, spin is more like it's something more than lying. It's like indifference to the truth. You don't really care about the truth. Fake news, another classic. So no need to explain here. But news that is completely made up, manipulated to resemble credible journalism and attract as much attention as possible. And together with it, some advertising revenue. In an extended definition, this also includes like websites that circulate distorted, dubious information through clickbaiting, which we were talking about before. Clickbaiting headlines that don't really reflect facts of the story or undeclared bias. Yeah, for example, from the well-known to the unknown, fake news, misinformation, and hate rhetoric are causing harm to many individuals. Yeah, that's the online reality. Filter bubble. Okay, this is also called like an echo chamber. So basically, all like internet service providers, websites, corporations, the biggest ones like Google, Amazon, well, they use computer algorithms to determine what content we should see, what content should be delivered to us. So basically, yeah, this is like automated personalization, yeah, which might be helpful in some ways, but it can also isolate you from other information that the algorithm thinks you might not like. So yeah, that's why that's another name for filter bubble, echo chamber. So basically, our online activity creates such filter bubble or such echo chamber, which can limit our exposure to different points of view and weaken our ability to avoid fake news and bias, because we only see news or messages that we agree with, yeah. And the algorithm decides about it, what to show us, yeah, based on our online activities. Yeah, as Facebook users around the world are coming to understand, some of their favorite technologies can be used against them. Yeah, people's filter bubbles are filled with carefully tailored information and misinformation, altering their behavior and thinking, and even their votes. So being stuck in such a filter bubble or echo chamber might be cognitively dangerous to some people. Gaslighting. Okay, this is a good one. Basically, this is a technique, a very elaborate technique of deception and psychological manipulation, usually practiced by a single deceiver or cheater or gaslighter on a single victim over a long time, over an extended period of time. And its aims are to gradually undermine the victim's confidence in their own ability to distinguish truth from falsehood, right from wrong, or what's reality and what's just an appearance, which kind of renders them pathologically dependent on the gaslighter, thinking that, yeah, this guy, only this guy is right. So yeah, a classic gaslighting technique is like, yeah, telling victims that others are crazy and lying, and that only me, the gaslighter, yeah, is the only source for true information. So that's dangerous. Hallucination, but not like our hallucination happening to humans, but of course, I mean the AI. So in the context of AI, hallucinations happen when AI algorithms and some deep learning neural networks produce answers, outputs, yeah, that are not real. They do not match any data that the algorithm has been trained on, or any other identifiable pattern. So AI also hallucinates, apparently. But of course, these are not like colorful visions or anything like that. But they are outputs that appear to be confident, fluent, often very compelling. But they have one downside: they are simply not true. So a chatbot can invent scientific reference, misattribute a historical fact, or describe a place that doesn't exist. But to us, I mean, these outputs sound or look believable. But, well, it doesn't change the fact that they are basically false. So yeah, AI also hallucinates. Hoax, that's a very nice one. Basically, is an act that is meant to trick or deceive people, or to trick people into thinking something is true or real when in fact it isn't. Yeah, some examples. Yeah, the Koch brothers supported climate denial think tanks, while Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch's Fox News nightly broadcasts worked over time to convince Americans that both climate change and COVID-19 were hoaxes, or that vaccines were ineffective or unsafe. Well, not only Fox News, right? Information overload, like I touched on it before. But yeah, nowadays we are simply overloaded with information. Yeah, we receive too much information at one time, and we cannot really think about all this in a clear way. It's just too much. So in the most extreme case, it can lead to simply something called information overload, which can turn into anxiety or even decision paralysis, and can cause a lot of stress. Too much information is not good. Junk science. No, as you can guess, this is something like not real science. It's like faulty scientific research, data, or scientific claims created for financial or political gain. Like, what about paracetamol causing autism? Well, okay. So yeah, sometimes when a corporation sees research that is against the corporation's interest, they are very likely to label it as junk science, whether it is or not. And the same is done by politicians, lobbyists, yeah, or any person who have some interest in changing public opinion or the actions of important people who make decisions. And it can be sometimes a challenge to determine if information is junk science or not. Another term is liar's dividend. Well, this phrase basically describes cases where people claim that real information is misinformation or disinformation. Such approach has a big benefit of muddying the waters, so that people, especially those who spread misinformation, are able to evade scrutiny embedded in accurate words or actions that are not believed by others. So basically, let's have a look at some example. Yeah? In a world where information can be easily falsified, a politician might claim that they did not say something or they did not do something, which in fact they said or did. But it helps create like mistrust in the mainstream news media, allows politicians around the world to evade difficult questions, yeah, or scrutiny of their words. So yeah, it's, well, enough to look around, and it pays off for those who want to spread mistrust and use this lack of trust to their own advantage. Yeah? Malinformation, like we talked about it briefly, genuine information that is shared with an intent to cause harm. Yeah, so it's something true but revealed in order to cause some trouble. Like, let's take some examples here. Like Russian agents, yeah, hacked into emails from the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign, and leaked certain details to the public to damage reputations of some people. Yeah, so information was real, but it was leaked in order to cause trouble or cause harm, right? Misinformation, which was also mentioned, it's the act of sharing information without realizing it's wrong. So basically, we spread information. Well, we believe it's true, but in fact, it's not. Yeah, like in 2020, 21, many endorsed the deplatforming of COVID skeptics and election conspiracy theorists, arguing that there was a public interest in stopping misinformation. Or yeah, concerns around thimerosal are rooted in historic misinformation on a debunked link between vaccines and autism. So this is coming back, yeah. Not vaccines this time, but some, well, medication. Native advertising. Okay, we have like some dark ads, now we have native ads. And basically, that's paid advertising where the ad basically doesn't look like an ad. It matches the form, feel, and function of the content of the media on which it appears. So this kind of advertising is trying to sell or promote a product, well, in the guise of a news story. It doesn't look like a real ad. It's more like an involving story that's trying to sell us something. Yeah, so they are designed like native ads to blend seamlessly with the surrounding content, so they don't stand out. They don't look like ads. They feel more like editorial content, not like some intrusive promotion. So this is like a subtle way of promoting a brand or a product. Newspeak. Welcome, George Orwell. This word comes from his 1984 book, well, still kind of up to date. Newspeak is deliberately ambiguous and contradictory language used to mislead and manipulate the public. Well, what can I say? Just listen to some politicians. Yeah, so this term was coined by George Orwell many decades ago, and Newspeak is basically about elimination or alteration of certain words, substitution of one word for another, interchangeability of parts of speech, and creation of words for some political purposes. So Newspeak, we have this phrase in our language, I guess. Peer reviews, we're coming back to science. Basically, peer review is a process by which some scholarly work such as a paper or some research material, yeah, is checked by a group of experts in the same field, just to make sure it's okay, it meets the necessary standards before it is published or accepted. If such material has undergone peer review, then we know that it's been checked by people who know something about it, and we can trust it. The climate scientists described the report as grossly misleading, full of mistakes, and lacking in both substance and peer review. Unfortunately, there's more and more scientific papers being published without any peer review, so basically they are not very reliable. Post-truth, okay, spelled with a hyphen, this is an adjective. Which basically means like relating or denoting like circumstances in which objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. So not facts, but emotions rule the world. Yeah, so post-truth is something more than just lying. Yeah? It tries to undermine the very notion of truth. Like, don't trust experts, yeah. Facts don't matter, yeah. They can be disentangled from fiction, yeah. And truth is knowable or even matters. Like, what truth? Yeah, it's post-truth. So it's like an extreme form of of lying, basically. We could say primary source. Okay, when choosing, well, where you get your information from, the best source is primary source, which is like a first-hand account of a topic created by someone who had direct knowledge of the event or topic described. Yeah, so as examples, we can use some autobiographies, diaries, letters, interviews, speeches, and so on and so on. So if we don't use primary sources, information can get distorted as it's passed on from one person to another. Yeah. If you've seen some information that doesn't seem right, probably you should try to find some primary source to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, like somebody said about something that they heard the president said in a speech. Probably they give you just their own interpretation. Yeah, so if you want to like really know what the guy said, you should look up this speech, video recording or the script. Yeah, and then you really know what he said exactly, and you can form your own interpretation based on primary source, not some secondary source. Pseudoscience. Okay, we talked about junk science. Pseudoscience, well, yeah, a system of theories or assertions about the natural world that claim or appear to be scientific, but in fact they have nothing to do with real science. Yeah, like let's take two examples, like astronomy. Okay, that's a science, yeah, but astrology, well, it's a pseudoscience. Yeah, so for example, yeah, citizens, environmental groups, and tribal stakeholders are demoralized by this and the prioritization of industrial logging, embrace of pseudoscience, non-transparency, poor responsiveness to public and expert comments, and meetings held while stakeholders are at work. Well, yeah, lots of politicians and corporations use pseudoscience to justify what they are doing. Pundit. Okay, a pundit is a person who gives opinions in a very authoritative manner, usually through the mass media. Charlie Kirk could be an example of a pundit, yeah, the recently deceased shot, yeah, American right-wing activist. Yeah, some example of Charlie Kirk. Like Goodman credits much of Charlie Kirk's shift from secular conservative pundit to unapologetically devout Christian with a megaphone to his wife, Erica Kirk. Sea lioning. Okay, that's an interesting one. So this is like a form of trolling used during debates by Charlie Kirk, for example. If you watch some of his videos debating with Cambridge students, for example. And as such a technique of trolling is meant to tire, to exhaust the other debate participant, and it's not intended to form any real discourse, any conversation. Yeah? So basically, yeah, such actions as like yeah, making an ostensible effort to engage in sincere and serious civil debate by asking persistent questions to the other commenter. But these questions are phrased in a way that may come off as an effort to learn and engage with the subject at hand, but they are really intended to yeah, erode the goodwill of the person to whom they are applying, or to get them appear impatient, yeah, lose their temper, to lash out, and therefore come off as unreasonable, yeah, and untrustworthy. Yeah, so for example, yeah, when an uninvited stranger pops into your conversation and peppers you with his unsolicited and insincere questions, yeah, such a person, yeah, can be called a sea lion. Yeah, so when such a sea lion demands evidence for even like the most mundane or self-evident statements that don't require any evidence, and insists that you justify your opinions until he's satisfied, which he will never be, because he's asking questions in bad faith, yeah, just to annoy you. So this kind of like way of debating is called sea lioning, right? Sensationalism, okay, that's media, right? The act by newspapers, television, well, any media, presenting information in a way that is meant to be shocking or exciting. Well, it sells better, yeah, like hotcakes. So for example, yeah, newspapers breathlessly reported on sightings and speculations, blurring the line between science and sensationalism. Shallow fake. Okay, this is like kind of the opposite of deep fake. So deepfake uses AI to manipulate visual content, but shallow fake, or another name is cheap fake, uses way simpler, more traditional tools and techniques, um, such as slowing down or speeding up a video, splicing video clips together, removing portions of the video to alter the way the viewer perceives the subject. So so-called like, yeah, out of context. Yeah, that's sometimes like a cheap fake. And applications of such fakes are diverse. Yeah, they can range from innocent social media usage to more harmful purposes, like yeah, spreading false information. And yeah, one common method involves like recontextualizing videos, leading to fake narratives, fake stories. Yeah. So also audio manipulations. We can alter somebody's tone of voice or speech, and then they sound totally different. Yeah, and their message sounds totally different. Mm, Sharebait. Okay, we talked about clickbait, but sharebait is a content on a website that exists only to be shared, aimed at generating advertising revenue, especially at the expense of quality or accuracy. But yeah, like click count matters. Yeah. So nowadays people are more willing to share an article than read it. Yeah, like reading, well, takes too much time probably. So this is like the modern way of consuming information. Yeah, we just share some links, some articles without reading them. And then, well, people form an opinion based on a summary or summary of summaries without making the effort to go deeper. Yeah, so that's kind of dangerous. So what we can do is to like think critically about the information we are sharing before we share it, because then it's just too late, right? Sycophancy. Okay, that's another term related to AI. So basically, it occurs when chatbots, AI assistants deliberately generate responses that match the beliefs of the user. Yeah, so if AI got to know you a little bit, knows your preferences, then such chatbots might give you information, well, inaccurate information. Yeah? There's been some study conducted called like towards understanding sycophancy in language models. They examined like some AI assistants and found that well, these AI tools consistently exhibit sycophancy. They do it all the time. They give us yeah, answers that we want to get. Yeah. So yeah, prefer convincingly written sycophantic responses over correct ones. So as long as it sounds good and we like it, we don't care if it's true. Yeah, but we agree with it. Yeah, so the company had also strengthened ChatGPT's mental health guardrails at various points after Adam's death in April, especially after GPT-40 faced scrutiny over its excessive sycophancy. So be careful. Spin. Okay, yeah, so that's another classic phrase. As a verb, yeah, that means to present news and information in a way that creates a favorable impression. Yeah. Like, yeah, the president's spin control was in full force again today after fresh allegations of financial misconduct have arisen yet again. So it all depends how you spin it. Yeah, it might turn out pretty okay if you know how to spin your story. Troll. Okay, here it's a verb. Yeah, so to troll. Yeah, it means to post some inflammatory or inappropriate messages or comments for the purpose of upsetting other users and provoking a response. Yeah, that's what trolls do, and that's called trolling. Yeah, for example, yeah, notorious for trolling message boards on the internet, posting offensive material he himself has written, and then suing anyone who responds in agreement. So yeah, we know trolling very well, I guess. Truthiness. Okay, so it's not truth, it's truthiness. So basically, it's the quality of preferring concepts or facts we wish to be true, rather than concepts or facts we know are true. Yeah, so we have our own truth. We believe it's true, but it has nothing to do with reality, right? So it can be like a blind bias in favor of your favorite sports team. Or like some people believe that Republicans rigged the 2004 election, yeah, or 9/11 conspiracy theories, or AIDS skepticism. Yeah, so some Manju concluded that the feeling that something is true had for many become a substitute for actual evidence. Yeah, so we prefer the feeling that is true instead of believing some empirical evidence. Yeah. So and this phrase "truthiness" was created by a American comedian, Stephen Colbert. Yeah, so that's truthiness. Urban legend, also called an urban myth. Yeah, so lots of such stories exist. Some cautionary, moralistic tales passed along by those who supposedly have seen something or have done something. But vast majority of such tales are pure invention. They have nothing to do with reality. Only a small portion of them turn out to be based on real incidents. So yeah, that urban legends, urban myths, like yeah, microwave ovens, which came along much later, enjoyed more widespread ownership and usage, both above 90%, in spite of urban legends about how microwaves will explode your pets and lower sperm counts. Yep. Uh, User-generated content. Well, we generate a lot of content as users, and that's kind of a problem, which leads to something we talked before, to information overload. Yeah. Yeah, in the past, it was mostly journalists, yeah, or people who had something to say or something to write, produced content that others could read or watch. But well, nowadays anyone can post something, express their opinions, yeah, and they are not held accountable for anything they say. And it's more difficult to tell like fact from fiction. So yeah, user-generated content can be dangerous because not all of this is like worth even looking at, yeah. And there's so much content that it leads to overload, information overload in today's world and internet. Some example, yeah. Moreover, we'll explore the diverse ways in which brands can leverage user-generated content as part of their marketing strategies. Yeah, so also some corporations use like user-generated content to promote themselves. Yeah, like by harnessing the power of authentic and relatable content created by users, businesses can enhance their online presence, build trust with their audience, and drive engagement. So why not? A yellow journalism, the last term for today. And what it is basically using cheaply sensational or unscrupulous methods in newspapers or other kind of media to attract or influence readers, viewers, whoever. Yeah? Some techniques include like yeah, banner headlines, colored comics, copious illustrations. When you talk about television or internet, there's lots of sensationalist practices of yellow journalism that became commonplace nowadays. So that's basically it. I've just chosen some expressions and terms related to this information. I hope that you found some of this stuff useful. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for attending. Hope to talk to you sometime in the future. Thank you very much and have a good night. Bye bye.